may have managed this race quite brilliantly. And I tell you what, we're going to find out in the next couple of laps if that is the case, as they come down towards turn 5 with 7.5 laps remaining.
Good first sector on lap 18 by Valentino Rossi. You can see on that graphic there, the gap down by 0.4 of a second, from 3.127 seconds to 2.748. So Rossi good through the first sector with that extra hard rear tyre.
He's put back another 10th through the third sector. These are crucial, these are graphics coming up. Absolutely crucial, because it just will give us an indication as if Marquez is having to slow with the tyres, if he's been looking after the tyres. And Rossi, obviously very fast, very consistent, very confident in that rear tyre. Here we go. He's getting closer.
Rossi, another 0.2 of a second quicker through the third sector. Edging ever closer to Marc Marquez. It was only 3 or 4 laps ago. The gap was 4.1 seconds. Rossi has recovered 1.7 seconds as Marc Marquez crosses the line now to finish lap 18. The gap down to 2.314 seconds. Rossi has just set a personal best lap of the race, a 1:39.399. He was almost a full second quicker than Marquez.
Dylan, our tyre man. It looks like it's happening, doesn't
exactly.
it?
This is exactly what Bridgestone were predicting. They said the tyre's going to drop off that hard a lot more. The thing is, will he have anything in reserve? He might be waiting to see whether Rossi can catch up or not. That would be the clever thing to do. But, you know, this was a gamble which Marquez took. They knew exactly, and he knew exactly, he had to run out. He had to build that gap because they would catch up at the end. Maybe they're a bit surprised as to how quick Valentino's catching up.
Rossi is catching him all the time. It's coming down to almost 2 seconds now. There's those top speeds, but Rossi is closing. There's still 6.5 laps to go. Marquez must know now that the championship leader is closing all the time. That is the gap. They're down at 7 and 8. We've almost forgotten what's happening behind them. There is Crutchlow, Iannone coming under pressure from Lorenzo. Smith 7th, Aleix Espargaro 8, Pol Espargaro 9, Redding 10, Vinales, Petrucci, Barbara, Miller and Bradl are your point scorers.
Lorenzo having a big moment coming through turn 5. He's trying to fight his way by Andrea Iannone for 5th place. Cal Crutchlow still hanging on to 4th. Here's the race leader, Marc Marquez. This is through turn 13. Let's keep an eye on the gap. Valentino Rossi there, just coming through your shot. Marquez over the line now.
What is the gap going to be? Crosses the line, 2 seconds. 2 seconds between Marquez and Rossi. 6 laps to go.
And Valentino Rossi, Nick, is dragging Andrea Dovizioso back into this fight as well. Rossi across the line with the best lap of the race for him so far, as was Andrea Dovizioso. Dovizioso less than a second behind Valentino Rossi. 6 laps to go of the Termas Rio Hondo circuit. Marquez coming under intense pressure. His lead down to under 2 seconds. Rossi has found nearly 0.3 again through the first sector. The lead, 1.7 seconds.
They race down towards turn 5. Marquez on the brakes. Rossi, that familiar big right leg goes out. It's a masterclass of riding by the master of Grand Prix racing. But catching him and then passing him may not be so easy. Dylan, is Marquez keeping something in reserve, or is he just having to ride as hard as he dares?
Well, I'm still down here with the Bridgestone guys. They're saying they're not entirely sure, because if he is pushing, then that's actually going to be very bad for him, because the tyre's just going to drop off more and more. The thing he should be doing now is try and keep it as smooth as possible, because at least then when Rossi does catch up, then he might have a bit more in reserve. So it's more him who's got to keep a calm head. But, you know, this is exactly the kind of situation that they were predicting beforehand.
This lead is being slashed now by Valentino Rossi. It's down to less than 1.5 of a second. There will be 5 laps to go when they cross the line. Rossi is going to be with him pretty quickly.
Has the gamble by Marc Marquez backfired? Rossi over the line, a new lap record from the Italian, 1:39.019. His fans cheer him on in the grandstands. Rossi now within 1.2 seconds of Marc Marquez, and this is where he's so strong through that first sector. Rossi has dropped Andrea Dovizioso. It looks like it's going to be a shootout for the victory between Marquez and that man there on the charge, Valentino Rossi.
36-year-old. He's riding like an 18-year-old on a track bike, isn't he? Amazing stuff from Rossi. There's nothing Marquez can do at the moment. He made the choice of that hard rear tyre. Rossi said right from the word go he was going to go from the extra hard. He's got him in his sights. When is he going to have the first nibble at him? Knowing Rossi, he will go at him as soon as he possibly can.
Rossi found another 10th through the first sector on this lap 21. That's Marc Marquez ahead of him as they plunge down the short downhill to turn 7. Marquez now pitches it right, going through 7 and 8. Rossi, what a ride. Well, we said he started 8th on the grid and won in Phillip Island, and he started 8th in Qatar and won. He's putting up a pretty good fight to make it 3 in a row.
He certainly is.
Guys, looking at the data from last race, with roughly 5 laps to a go, this was the point when the guys on wearing tyres started to say, look, now I know how far it is to the end. Sorry, well, they know that anyway, but now they know that it's not so long, and we might see some of them start pushing. So let's keep an eye on Marc Marquez, whether there comes this point where he, say, pulls the trigger and says, now I don't have much left, now I can really burn the tyres up.
Marquez will not give this up without an enormous fight. You know that. 4 laps ago, Rossi in 2nd place. The gap now 1.157 seconds. Be interesting through that 2nd split just to see the gap. He's got him in his sights. He's not quite close enough. You've got a glimpse there. Dovizioso, Crutchlow, Iannone, Lorenzo, Smith, Aleix Espargaro.
Just a quick shot there of Marquez's crew chief, Santi Hernandez, checking the track temperature. Is that hard option rear tyre going to hold out for the victory? 4 laps to go. Valentino Rossi powers down the back straight. The gap now 0.6 of a second on the brakes into turn 5. Rossi as close as he's been all race.
Rossi's got him in his sights. There's the track temperatures all the way round. It's a lot hotter than it has been for the day so far. And it's getting late. It's coming up to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here. The sun has only really come up in the last couple of hours. Marquez made the choice of using the hard rear tyre, not the extra hard. Rossi, from the word go, said he was going to use the extra hard. Who has made the right decision? 3.5 laps will tell us.
Through turn 11, Marc Marquez. Valentino Rossi has taken another 1/10 of a second out of the double world champion. Half a second now, the gap. Rossi almost right with Marquez as they come to complete lap 22.
Through the right-hander, flick it left over the start line. 3 laps ago, and an amazing Grand Prix of Argentina here at the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit. Up towards turn 1. Rossi chasing his 2nd Grand Prix victory of the season, as is Marquez. Rossi closing all the time.
Unbelievable performance by the 9 times world champion through the 2nd corner. Marquez having big moments. That rear tyre twitching as he gets on the gas. Rossi now, this is through turns 3